Right, but I thought there was another town called Winfield, which is how the town in the middle got its name, because it was between Gwyn and Winfield.
You did tell me you learned something about that. Maybe tune in for our next podcast. Two Nimrods talking about Alabama. It is a twist. The Nimrods aren't from Alabama. Hey, whiskey fans, and welcome to episode 7 of Two Nimrods Drinking Whiskey, the only whiskey drinking show that makes you wish the internet was never invented. So please join me, Norm, my fellow co-host, drinking buddy, and longtime Nimrod, Bryan.
Hey, everybody. I'm Bryan, and I, too, am a Nimrod.
As we continue our journey through the wonderful world of whiskey. So that being said, how's everything going today, Bryan?
It's going good. It's going good, Norm. I'm looking forward to tasting some whiskey today. It's a perfect Scotch day. It's a little bit cool. It's a little bit misty, so I think conditions are favorable for tasting this whiskey. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in to check out what's going on here. I think this is important that I remind you that Norm and I are amateurs in the whiskey world, and we are wandering blind through a dark cask of whiskey without a glass, which all that really means is we don't always know what we're talking about. But our goal is to learn more about the world's whiskeys, and I think if you stick around for a few minutes, you just might learn something. Anything noteworthy in your life today?
Well, in the world of Whiskey Nimrods, we debuted our first episode today.
That's pretty exciting. I haven't checked, but are we famous yet?
Almost. We're up to 45 followers now.
All right. Groundbreaking.
We somehow started with 70 before I posted the video, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's not how it's supposed to work, is it?
Rumor has it. I think it calls for a celebration.
Indeed.
And maybe a whiskey drink.
That sounds like a great idea. Tell the fine folks at home what concoction we will be sipping and tasting today.
That's because I know he's dying to find out. Today we're drinking, we're going back to Scotland, and more specifically the Highlands region, as we're going to sample Glencadam10 single malt Scotch whiskey. It's in the Highlands. It's located in the town of, I believe it's pronounced Brechin, Brechin, and located about halfway between Dundee and Aberdeen, because we all know our Scottish geography. So I'm sure that gave everybody complete clarity on where that is.
We all know exactly where you're talking about.
So personally, I've always preferred Dundee over Aberdeen.
No way! Aberdeen rules!
And they've actually been producing Scotch since 1825. They started right after the Excise Act of 1823, which made it legal to start distilling whiskey in Scotland, and kind of set the stage for the Scotch production and industry as we know it today.
You could say they were on the ground floor then.
Pretty close to it. They're on the peaty floor. And I read that the Glencadam, they use some ex-sherry and ex-port casks, but mainly they tend to mature their whiskeys in ex-bourbon barrels.
It's just in looking at it in the bottle, it appears pretty light, which I think maybe suggests that these ex-bourbon barrels may actually be ex-bourbon barrels. I think a lot of whatever char was in those barrels has been pretty much dumped in whatever was previously soaked in them. But, hey, reuse and recycle, people. Save the planet, one drink at a time.
There you go. We're practicing good wood management.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can't, that's really key to fine whiskey is the wood management.
Exactly. And to life itself.
I guess what, so this particular version, the 10, I think was first released in 2008 by the current owners, the Angus Dundee Distillers, and they bought the company in 2003. As you've alluded to, this Scotch originates from the Highland region of Scotland, which is a fairly large whiskey production region of Scotland. And because it's so large, it has sort of subgenres of flavors and types of Scotch within that region. So the northern region makes a slightly different version than southern, east versus west. And and I can never pronounce it, Glencadam. The Glencadam is from the Eastern Highlands. The general characteristics of whiskeys from this area tend to be full-bodied, dry, fruity, not a lot of smokiness, if any at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I picked up. And I've had this before, and I've had a few other Highland whiskeys, and they are I'd say they tend to be lighter than some of the other whiskeys from Scotland. Mm-hmm. But it's a good change up. I said the way that they can have the different regions, and even though such a small island, and to us everything seems so close together, but the variety of taste that you can get from there is pretty cool. And also, if the Glencadam, the distillery during World Wars I and II, they mothballed it, and they used it. The warehouses, instead of doing the distilling, they actually used them as barracks for soldiers. They needed a place to house soldiers.
War. What is it good for? Not making whiskey, I guess.
Yeah.
Enough of the chit chat. Shall we start drinking?
Never thought you'd ask. I never thought you'd shut me up.
And so this looks pretty light. So I think I'm going to we're going to start neat here. And I may add a few drops of water and see what that does. I believe that's kind of how the Scots do it.
On one of our, I got some feedback note today, the first episode, and I was told to stop putting the glass in front of my face.
Just kind of always put it in front of your face?
So this is for Melanie. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate it.
She's not the one that has to edit you.
That's Mrs. Nimrod's job. No, you're right. You see the color. It is
pretty light.
Somewhat light. Or it's kind of like apple cider. More like an apple juice or like a white grape juice.
Yes. Yeah, I'd go apple juice, if that even. So
a lot of sweetness, a lot of fruitiness in the aromas.
I'm getting. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say. I feel like any aromas I'm getting are pretty mild, but yeah, I do.
Yeah. But that's the main ones, the sweetness. But in a little faint alcohol.
I'm not getting any alcohol. Some of those ones we had previously, they were giving me the vapors.
You can taste some of the vanilla. It's a little spicy.
It is a little spicy.
So it's just very smooth, though.
It is super smooth.
Nothing is overpowering in it. It's just a nice mellow. I think mellow is a good word for it, but a good mellow. There's taste, there's flavors, but it's very mellow. Yeah,
there's some. There's more. There's more in the mouth than I was expecting based on the color.
That this week's pass go to the Peekaboo Lounge?
It always seems to be. They don't really ever change the password. But there is more of a mouthfeel here than I was expecting. But it is quite smooth. I'm working on.
Tastes like a Saturday night at the Deck household.
This episode is going to be 30 seconds long.
Again, Saturday night at the Deck household.
Jeez. My mother might watch this one day.
Hey, good luck with that.
So, flavor profile. I would say that it's fruity. I get fruit, maybe a little honey.
So the main things I pick up, I can pick up some fruit, the sweetness, some vanilla, and the spice. So those are the main ones I'm getting right now. Maybe some citrus.
Yeah. And I feel like there's like a buttery texture to it. In other words, it feels like it's a little more viscous than just straight water and alcohol would be. It's
yeah.
Kind of coats.
I can kind of taste it and almost kind of feel the butter a little bit.
Yeah, it's a feel. It's a slippery sort of feel that kind of lingers on the tongue.
One of the reviews I read did mention buttered popcorn, like a toffee butter popcorn
I
mix.
just got done eating buttered popcorn. I could imagine that, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm gonna just top off a little bit and just do
I'm
it.
gonna try a little smidge on the ice just to see if that kind of
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a little water here,
does something with the flavors a bit, opens it up more or dulls them more.
like green.
Pretty much the same, just weaker than before. So I think this is probably best served without ice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would stand up to the ice.
No, I'm not. Just trying it right now. I know some of the ones we tried recently, there's been like a big different flavor difference with or without ice, and sometimes like the Suntree when we did the Toki, the ice seemed to open it up more.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just the ice just seems to dull this one. So I definitely recommend this neat.
Yeah, I like it with the a few. I like it with a small splash of water. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more green apple out of it now. Not enough that it's really watered down. Just changes the profile just a little bit.
I think it's a nice subtle finish to it also.
Yeah, I don't get it. The flavor stays for quite a while, but I'm not getting any sort of off flavor as it's fading. Yeah, it leaves me with a good taste in my mouth. And it's Sunday, not Saturday, so just relax.
Your Sunday morning mouth you got going on right now.
We're not going to be able to keep it. Oh my God.
Well, what I've learned today, no one listens to these anyway. No one's going to be this far in. I'm going to leave it in and see what people say. If their kids are watching, it's on them.
Yeah, why are you letting a kid watch a show where we talk about whiskey? Be a better parent. We're making more friends this week. And I feel like there is a little bit of smokiness to it. Despite the lack of the depth of color. I mean,
You're picking that up?
I feel like I do. But I'm saying I feel like I'm getting some smoke from the multiple use charred barrel.
Maybe wonder if any of the sweetness is from the ex-bourbon.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. We're getting some of that for sure. Now I have noticed, not inconspicuously, I am enjoying this very much, but I'm not sure if we've said any stripper names yet, and that's going to foul up our grading system again.
No, but we found out your household on a weekend is a lot like a strip club, apparently, though, so pretty close.
Is that right? Well, they do call me Magic Mike on Friday and Saturday.
Will you make your wand disappear?
Oh, my. Oh, dear. It's pretty tasty, Norm. It's a good recommendation.
It is good. Like I said, I'm hoping it's pronounced Glencadam. It could be Glencadam, but I'm going with Cadam. Anyone's out there fact checking, let us know.
Please let us know.
Yes, I know the one thing the internet hates to do is correct people and slightly embarrass them.
I know it's from day one. The problem with the internet was politeness. I have no complaints with this whatsoever. This is
No, I'm very pleased with this. I like this. I'm just kind of disappointed I took so long to open this up. This is also a good starter whiskey if you haven't tried whiskeys or scotches before and you're afraid to do. This is because it's just very subtle. I won't say it's not threatening. Mm-hmm. It's just here's some flavor. There's a couple different tastes, and it just and a nice smooth finish to it.
Yes,
it's really nothing that'll scare anyone away.
It has a lot of flavors. It doesn't have any one flavor that's like overpowering.
So any final thoughts, Brian?
This is a solid whiskey. It isn't one that I've heard of. It was, I was flying below my radar, but it doesn't have any harsh aromas, no harsh flavors. It's balanced, it's smooth, it's got enough complexity to keep it interesting, and it's great neat, maybe with a little bit of water. If you're new to it, try it on ice. How about you?
Pretty much like I said previously before the final thoughts, which we can fix in the editing. Like I said, it's I don't really have anything wrong with this whiskey at all. It's just that it's just a solid pour. Pour me one little.
Just a wee dram.
Just a wee bit more. I'd use my Scottish accent, but it's just bad and offensive.
But you don't have one.
No, I don't.
We would be invaded by Scotland if you use that. Aye, we heard your accent, and it sucks.
It's not Scottish. See, I can't even do it. It's not Scottish. It's crap.
Well, Norm, I have really appreciated this selection of yours, and will definitely be adding it to my cabinet. Thank you very much for having me along this episode.
Well, if you guys enjoyed it, I'd like to say thanks to you for joining me for a drink. Thanks to you all out there joining us for our drink and sitting through this camaraderie. And as always, everyone, may your bottoms be up and your worries be down.
Hear, hear.
No way! Aberdeen rules!